guys, and welcome to the 6th day of the Shades of Magic week. Today I thought I would sort all of our lovely characters into Hogwarts houses. I know Victoria Schwab has done a Tumblr post and sorted the main characters into the Hogwarts houses, but I did not look at that post again because I wanted to do this on my own accord and kind of see what I think about it. Sometimes I really think there's no right or wrong with Hogwarts houses. I mean, I feel like with characters, for the person that's writing the book, the characters might just feel a little different as they do for a reader, and then also I feel like just characters feel different for different readers, you know? So I thought it would be interesting if I talked about the Hogwarts houses that I would sort these characters into, and as always, feel free to agree or disagree. As I said, I think it's very different for everyone, but yeah, let's just talk about it. So the first character I want to sort into a Hogwarts house is Lila, because I feel like Lila is so obvious. I think out of all of the characters, she might be the most obvious, and she is definitely a Slytherin, and I know for a fact, I can't ignore that fact, that Victoria Schwab does sort Lila into Slytherin as well. So maybe that's something that goes on in my brain, but I just feel like Lila is this perfect Slytherin. Like, she is top-notch Slytherin. She's like the perfect example. This one person you could show to everyone to be like, this is a typical Slytherin. She's cunning, she's proud, she's ambitious, she wants to have her own pirate ship, she's willing to kill off captains just to get her own crew. I don't know, I feel like I also just really like that she's a Slytherin because I myself am a Slytherin and I'm still fighting for Slytherin rights to make people realize that we're not all bad. And while Lila is certainly not a good character, she is definitely not a villain. She is a lovely character, and she's an interesting character and a character with lots of different dynamics to her. So that alone makes me want to put her in Slytherin, but I feel like, as I said, she is a perfect Slytherin. She fits in there so well. Then we have Rye, which I would personally put into Gryffindor, and I think many people think he is Hufflepuff just because he's so cinnamon rolly. But if you kind of really look at Hufflepuff, Hufflepuff is not about being a cinnamon roll, and I know that definitely lots of Hufflepuffs are just good people, genuine good people, but I feel like it's just because the other houses are just so much not that Hufflepuff is kind of the only house that stands out as a house for good people. But I don't know, I see him in Gryffindor because he is reckless, he is proud, and it's interesting how this works together. The fact that he doesn't really have any magical abilities just makes him so prone to kind of be reckless, I feel like. And he's like, I want to have the strength, so I'm gonna do this and that, which is really reckless, but I'm so proud, and that's why I just can't get over the fact that I can't have magic. Also, I feel like he's this kind of typical Gryffindor in a way where he's like too lazy to actually practice, but still wants to have the abilities. So I don't know, I feel like actually Rye is a pretty fitting Gryffindor, although I do see why people would put him in Hufflepuff, but for me, especially in the second book, I can see just so many Gryffindor tendencies. Next we have Cal, which for me personally, Cal is really hard to sort into. I actually think he might just be a Gryffindor. I feel like he is loyal, he's very much for fair play, he is patient, but he is also brave/reckless. If I had to sort him into one house, I would sort him into Hufflepuff, but I do feel like he has lots of Gryffindor tendency. I just feel like the loyalty aspect is very big when it comes to him, like the way he is still loyal to his kingdom, to the Queen and King, even though they treat him like shit. Me personally, as a Slytherin, I would have been like, fuck off, like, just leave me the fuck alone. And also, he is very patient when it comes to Rye, is my personal opinion. And he just kind of, Rye is like, let's go out, let's be reckless. And Cal is like, alright. And then just kind of sits there. And it's just kind of like, I guess especially compared to Rye, as I just said, this kind of situations of let's go out and be reckless is so Gryffindor, versus Cal being like, no, we shouldn't, we can't, loyal, blah 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 blah. So I just feel like I kind of just explained this better to myself than I explained it to anybody else. I feel like finally for me it clicked that I definitely would sort him into Hufflepuff, not Gryffindor. Then we have Holland. Holland is a hard one for me because we just do not know much about Holland, and I feel like Holland is someone where you would have the tendency to put him into Slytherin, but hell no, he ain't no Slytherin. And I'm interested to see if my opinions on this will change after the final book, but I think at this point, I would sort him into Ravenclaw. First of all, just because it's like, then we have all of the 4 houses in these kind of 4 main characters. But I don't know, if I just think of Ravenclaw, I don't only think of like intelligence, wisdom, of wanting to learn new stuff. I also just kind of think of wit, also kind of being proud in a way. So I feel like, I don't know, Holland is really hard. This is really something where I rather put him into Ravenclaw because I feel like the other houses don't fit. He's certainly not a Gryffindor. Wouldn't really say like courage and bravery. Like, he is a strong ass character, but brave, reckless, not really. Proud and ambitious, not really. I feel like honestly the only other thing that would maybe potentially make sense is Hufflepuff, as he is so loyal to White London and he just kind of really wants to protect it. But then I also feel like he just fits Ravenclaw because he's like, I want to be on a throne, I'd be best, I know best. That's so Ravenclaw, isn't it? Or is that more Slytherin? I don't know. For me, that's like, oh, I certainly know best how to rule this kingdom. But it's not the kind of Slytherin Gryffindor side of that. It's the I actually know what I'm doing side of that. That feels very Ravenclaw to me. Oh, I don't know. Holland is very hard one. I'm interested to see, as I said, how I feel about it after the 3rd book. But I think at this point, I would probably put him into Ravenclaw. To be honest, I think Ravenclaw is also the house I know least about and I feel least confident in putting people in there. I think after the 3rd book I will either think he is Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff. I think he is kind of in between for me. Then we have Alucard. Alucard is another one I find very hard. I wrote down Ravenclaw, but at this moment I cannot remember why I wrote it down. I think because of wit. I think Alucard could potentially also be a Slytherin, but I also think he's another character that we just definitely have to know more about to really figure it out. I think maybe between Ravenclaw and Slytherin would be a good option. Loyalty, patience, fair play, not really. Bravery, courage, I guess in a way, but Alucard really doesn't feel like a Gryffindor at all. Proud and cunning, ambitious, yeah. But also wit, wisdom, intelligence. A Slitherclaw? I don't know. I think this is another one where I just kind of have to wait for the 3rd book because it seems like Alucard is gonna have a bigger role in that one. I don't know, don't you feel like his attitude seems so Ravenclaw? Then we have Calla. Calla, I know, is just a small character, but I care so much about her. She is very close to my heart. I really love her. I guess it's just because we're so similar in the way that we ship Calla and Lila. Anyway, Calla for me is definitely Hufflepuff, and I guess Calla is definitely one of these like genuine good people that you definitely feel like belong to Hufflepuff, but I also feel like fair play, loyalty, patience fit her very well. Also, I feel like Hufflepuffs are shippers, if that makes any sense. I feel like Hufflepuffs want to see people together quite a lot. I guess Calla is as much Hufflepuff as Lila is Slytherin to me personally. Then we have Oscar, which I definitely wanted to put in here because I feel like she's another one where you might potentially say she's Slytherin just because she's bad, but she's so not Slytherin. She, in my personal opinion, is also another like 200% Hufflepuff. Her loyalty to White London and her patience when it comes to the White King amazes me, and she is an interesting character, but she is so loyal. She would give up everything to serve her king. I don't know, Oscar is another very clear Hufflepuff to me, and I just like it when like seemingly bad characters are in Hufflepuff because not all of Hufflepuffs are good, genuine people, as I said. And then the Dane twins are, I feel like, villains that are very obvious Slytherins, proud, cunning. I just don't think they fit into any other house. They don't know what the fuck they are doing. They are not brave or patient or wise or anything like that. They are just like, I want to be the ruler, woo! So yeah, these are perfect Slytherins. Just as I feel like Oseron was also one of these like typical Slytherins. Not all villains are Slytherins, but Slytherins just bring so many kind of traits that fit very well to villains or just to kind of leaders in general. Slytherins are leaders, and so I feel like people like Oseron or the Dane twins who just kind of want to rule the world or whatever, they are just very fitting to Slytherin. Although I feel like Oseron is very much someone who's like Gryffindor, Slytherin, same coin, different sides thing. And finally, one more character I do want to talk about is Master Tyrion, because while trying to figure out which house he belongs in, I felt like I couldn't put him in a house. I feel like because he is a priest, the first kind of thing you think of, for me personally, is Ravenclaw. Because like wisdom and just learning and being just in general a very wise person. But he is also reckless. He is also cunning and proud. He is also loyal and patient. So honestly, I feel like, and as I thought about it, it kind of blew my mind. Priests are the ones that are really powerful because they can balance magic. Priests just can balance all of these elements, and I feel like Tyrion balances all of these different personality traits just as well, and that blows my mind. And I really didn't go in there from this point of view. I went in there and thought, okay, which of these personality traits fit him? And then I realized, all of them kind of fit him. And then realized that he balances elements. And I was like, mind blown. I mean, holy shit. Yeah, I don't know. If you have a house where you would sort him in, definitely let me know. But I feel like he's not sortable because he balances all of these traits and all of these elements. And these were all of the characters that I wanted to talk about. As I said, let me know if you agree or disagree. Is there anybody else you might potentially want to sort into a house? What's with Ned? I didn't write down Ned. I think Ned is a Gryffindor. Pretty sure Ned is definitely a Gryffindor. But I feel like most of the characters we really don't know much about. I feel like with like Kella and Oshka, it was so clear. That's why I wanted to include them. But for some of the other smaller characters, I just don't think we can really figure it out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And I guess I'll see you tomorrow for the final day of the Shades of Magic week. Holy shit. Bye!